Hi, I'm Anne Hayek, and today we are going to be talking about dating and marriage. And the two go hand in hand. You don't have a good marriage if you didn't have a good dating relationship and set the bar there. And if you want to have good dating, you need to teach your kids when you're married and they're young. So it's the chicken and the egg, and it's self perpetuating. And hopefully they listen. So, I'm Anne Hayek. I've been married for just about 20 years, and I do have the best husband on earth. And here's the deal, it didn't happen by accident. It was very much prayed for and planned for, actually. And I want to share that with you because this is a place where we know there is huge attacks on marriage and dating. And I think what I did was amazing, frankly, by the grace of God, and I want to share that with you. So, first things, before you're married and before you date, you really need to know what you want. Now, you might go, "Oh, I already know that." Well, do you? And do you stick to that when you're dating somebody, or do you forget all about what you had in your head that you wanted before that, and suddenly they're cute or they're charming, and you forget everything that is basically on this list that maybe you had in the back of your head? Well, what I did, because my husband is pokey and didn't find me until we were 33 years old. So I had a very long time of dating. And what I found in that time was that I would forget what I had on my list and what was important to me because they were cute and charming, whatever. So I started making a list. I got tired of that. When a relationship would end, I would go, why did I do that? And so I started making a list and I would start writing down all of the things that I liked in somebody, whether it was somebody that I had dated, somebody in my family, qualities that I knew that I wanted in somebody that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And I would just start writing. And then when I dated somebody, whether it was one date or five or whatever, and that would end, or maybe during that, even that relationship, I would write down qualities, that person that I really liked, and the opposite quality of things that I didn't like in that person that I wanted to find in the next person. And I kept revising that list. So by the time, well, for sure, and long before actually I met my husband, that list grew to 4 pages front and back. Very detailed, I kid you not. I wish I could find that right now. I know I didn't throw it away, but I don't know where it is. So, that is really important because then when you do start dating somebody, you can refer to that list and go, "You know, I really wanted somebody who was very patient, and this person is very impatient. They might be cute and charming, but I don't know if I can live with that. I don't know if I want my children to live with that." So, that's where having that list is very important. And so when I didn't go by this, I definitely had issues too and would forget my list. Like I said, we all do that. And that's why it's important to have that list. And just because I have the list doesn't mean you're never going to go astray in your own things, but it's important to have it to refer back to and to pull you back on track. So start making your list and start writing. I mean, I would go and revise this all the time. I would go reread it. I'd cross things out. I would add to it. And it was a working list that I kept on going. And I'll tell you, everybody I knew, friends and people I even worked with knew I had this list. And you know what? They thought it was ridiculous and they thought it was really funny. And every time I would think about my list, I could be anywhere. I'm an extrovert, so things just pop out of my mouth sometimes. And I would just say, "Oh my gosh, my husband is going to be amazing." And people would actually say, "Don't say that." I mean, they would really honestly say, "Don't say that." And I'll tell you, when I did meet my husband and knew that he was the one, I felt like I had made him up because I would sit and kind of meditate and pray on my list like, "Oh my gosh, all these qualities are so amazing, and this person is going to be amazing." So, make sure you make your good list. Other things that you can do. My father was not a great example, God rest his soul. There were many things like the patience and impatience part that I did not care for and really bothered me and was also a struggle growing up. And I made sure to put patience high on top of the list. My father was very quick to anger. And so on the top of my list again was somebody very slow to anger. And I know back, okay, so that was a long time ago when I made that list. When our priest talked about getting married, he always would say, "You're going to marry somebody like your father. You're going to marry someone like your father." Well, when your father was not a great father or a great husband to your mom, then that is the last thing you want to hear. And I will tell you, you are not going to have to do that. That is not set in stone at all. But you need to be very conscious of who is this person? Why don't you want somebody like your father? Or maybe you do, except for this part. Okay, write those things down. That is how you can change those things from continuing to happen. So make a list, check it as much as you can all the time and start there. So that is your first lesson for today. We'll be talking a lot more about this. Now, the other things that you want to do is if you're a parent, start talking about some of this with your children when they are young. You don't wait till they're middle school and high school. I mean, clearly they don't need all of this detail at the moment, but you do want them to think about it and tell them your rules for dating. Now, back in the 90s, when Focus on the Family was on the radio all the time, I would listen to that. And Dr. James Dobson, one, had um, radio shows about this. Like, I'm sorry, I can't even think of what they're called since they're not podcasts anymore. You have radio shows about dating and marriage, and I listened to a lot of them. And one thing he said was start talking to your children when they are very young about the rules that you have for dating and will expect of them when they get to the age that you allow. Because if you wait till they are in middle school, they aren't listening anymore, and it's a bit late. So we did tell our children when they were very young, there'll be no dating until you are 18 because nothing good comes out of dating when you're under 18. If you don't have those rules, you do what you want in your family, but that was a rule in our family. And then we revised it as I got older to you're out of high school because even though thankfully my kids didn't have their birthdays, so they were almost graduated, I was like, I don't even want to deal with it at that point either. Nothing good happens. Dating is very, tries your ability to resist things, if you know what I mean. So there's just nothing good about it at that age, if you ask me. Anyway, so let me know your thoughts on all of this. This is the first in a very long series on dating and marriage. Again, I'm Anne Hayek, going on just about 20 years of a very happy marriage. And I hope everything is going great with you, and I will see you soon.